When we talk about effective remote working, there are two things to consider. The first one is work-life balance. How do you maintain work-life balance when you are working from home? And the second one is, how do you create a high-performing team when you all are working virtually? You're not sharing an office together. How do you build that team that is connected with each other and having the team spirit? The topic is very important in terms of leadership because first we're talking about people, and people are the main ingredients of a high performing team and getting good results. So well-being of the employees are very important, and also feeling related to someone or something, to some organization, to some team is very important, because as human beings, when we feel that we belong to somewhere, we desire to produce more, do more, and hit our performance goals, and maybe even do more than our goals. Since the COVID started, all of us started working virtually, and now working from home or working hybrid started to be part of our life, and it is the new normal. And it's very difficult to set up the boundaries when we are working from home. And the most common question that we get from our coaches and clients: how do I maintain work-life balance so that I can care for myself, consider my well-being? Because it's very difficult when you work from home. You have private life as well, but you don't have any boundaries. You're not traveling from one place to another place. So your computer is always there. Someone can email you in the middle of the night, and you feel like, oh, okay, I'm already sitting here, let's answer that email. But if we were traveling from work to home, it was easier to set boundaries. So recharging is very important to maintain well-being. Organizations find it challenging today to maintain the well-being of the employees and also at the same time hit the company goals, because the desire of driving better results and functioning at a higher level, accomplishing more and more, sometimes with their busy agenda, leaders lose sight of the well-being of their employees. This is the challenge. Most of the leaders are aware of the importance of the well-being and building the team spirit, even if we are working virtually. But sometimes they find it challenging to implement those ideas, because sometimes there's this fear of how they might be perceived when they're talking about working hours and taking time off or lunch break. So the system is not built up to support these kind of changes. So they need to change the system. And this requires a lot of work. So when we work with leaders, we introduce the idea of having a conversation around your expectations with your team and helping them to set some boundaries for their work-life balance. You have to manage your own day, but also meet the expectations of your team, and they need to do the same. So this requires to have an open conversation with your team members and with your team. And when you're having these expectation setting conversations, you need to consider three things. The first thing, why is this important? What are we trying to accomplish and achieve with this conversation? And it's not just about setting the boundaries, but also, as I said, how do we function well as a team? Right? How do we build the team spirit? Because every team member probably needs something different to feel that motivation, to feel that connection. So you need to talk about it. Open and honest conversation is the key for this. And the second thing that you need to talk about is, how do we need to be to achieve the outcome when we are balancing our work and our life? How do we need to be? What is the level of flexibility? that we need to have, or how do we support each other? The way of being is very important. It's not just doing. And the third thing is, okay, what are we going to do about it, right? So we start with, why is this important? How do we need to be? And what are we going to do about it? The most important thing about this conversation is it is a dialogue. It's not a monologue. So as a leader, it's not just you implementing your ideas on this topic. It's most of the time listening what your team needs as well, so that you create that teamy spirit, and so that your team also feels like they are valued, their well-being is important. The reason that we need that alignment is, once they are there, they will perform more. They will have the sense of belonging, and they will know that the company, the leader, the organization is caring for them. And they will do the same for the company. As a leadership consultancy company, when we work with leaders, we are not just focusing on their strategic and financial goals. We support the leaders to support their teams and give them the skills to create this new working environment where well-being is prioritized, but at the same time, they're accomplishing the financial goals or the strategic goals of the company. If you want a high-performing team, motivated team with great well-being, you need to have these expectation-setting conversations with your team. You need to listen to them, understand what they need, and then have this open and honest and non-judgmental conversation. And then just see the results.